Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The Bone Giant is bringing a bow larger than most buildings as he does face off against the High Elves. So we have Tomb Kings versus High Elves, where I am going to be leading the Tomb Kings, and we have Luthi Leg is going to be leading the High Elves. So for the Tomb King forces, we do have a pair of Tomb Guard up in that front line to act as kind of the anchor for the formation, and they will be supported by some Skeleton Warriors, just some chaff units for the most part, as they do hold that front line against the High Elves to allow the Chosen of the Gods and the Ushapti Greatbow to fire in for the most part of the match, as well as this Bone Giant. And we do have some King Nikesha's Scorpion Legion as well to provide a little bit of assistance for that front line, as they do poison damage, so that will assist with either going up against other infantry, poisoning them, or any kind of large targets to get onto them and allow just like either these Eyes of the Desert or potentially even the Tomb Prince to really work their magic against a kind of a weakened opponent. And then we do have a couple of Skeleton Spearmen in the back line protecting these Chosen of the Gods and the Ushapti from any kind of backline pressure. And these Eyes of the Desert, the Sepulchral Stalkers ROR variant, doing some very good ranged support, as they do have stock and they have a very potent ranged attack with their armor piercing and poison, as it just can melt large targets very, very quickly. So that'll pretty much prevent any potentially dragons or anything from getting too close, trying to get breath attacks on, because if these guys get underneath them and just open up, they can quickly melt large targets. Even like Techless or anything like that can just do a ton of damage. Now for the leadership department, we do have Ark in the Black. He's going to be bringing Spirit Leech, Fate of Buna, as well as the Liber Mortis, Staff of Nagash, and the Tomb Blade of Arkan. And he will be protected by the Tomb Prince, who does have his Guardian ability, so kind of keeping Arkan alive for as long as he can with that additional resistance. Now for the High Elf forces, we do have Imrik on his Star Dragon. Now, Imrik on his Star Dragon is very, very expensive. However, he is also very, very strong. He is going to be bringing the Dragon Horn, which gives plus 24 melee attack to the entire army when he uses it, and he does have 3 charges on that. Now, it also gives Fear. However, that isn't going to be really useful against the Tomb Kings, as they are all immune to that kind of abilities. He also does have Lord of Dragons, giving minus 24 melee attack and melee defense. Now, for the mobility department, we do have Illyrian Reaver Archers, as well as some War Lions of Trace to provide a little bit of mobility assistance and skirmish potential. Now, for the front line, for the High Elves, we do have some Spearmen, and they will be supporting these White Lions of Trace. Now, the White Lions of Trace are a very good frontline unit for the High Elves in this matchup, as they do a number on all of the Tomb King forces, especially even Tomb Guard. They just trade so well into them. And they will be supported by a Lore Master of Hoeth with his spellcasting ability, so he will be bringing Spirit Leech, Wild Form, and Earthblood. And he does have a couple other abilities too that is fairly helpful in this matchup. So he does have the Lore Master's Cloak, which gives plus 22 magic resistance to all allies in a 40-meter radius, and he also does have the Blessed Tome, which gives plus 8 leadership to all allies in a 30-meter radius. So that's fairly helpful, especially against Tomb Kings with all their undead forces. Especially that magic resistance as well can provide quite a bit of assistance. Now, the Sisters of Avalorn, there is 2 of those to provide those ranged superiority, as they do magic and fire damage with their ranged attacks, and that could be exceptionally potent against the constructs of the Tomb Kings like Ushapti. Even the Bone Giant needs to be very, very careful of that focus fire from them, and they will be protected by some Spearmen to prevent any of the ranged or against the mobility of the Tomb Kings from getting on. But there are really no mobile factors for the Tomb Kings in this matchup. But those are our armies, so let's get the show on the road as these armies do engage. Now, the Bone Giant and the Ushapti are targeting Imrik very, very early on, as Imrik does kind of get probably a little too close for comfort here, as that Bone Giant does open up with his bow, connecting with the shots, already doing a ton of damage, as Imrik is already down to about 4k HP, as the shots from that Bone Giant Ushapti just doing so much damage, and a breath attack will be coming in. It does make contact with this Ushapti unit, taking out one model, but one model Ushapti is not worth the damage that he has taken from all this focus fire. He also has a Spirit Leech on top of him from Arkan, and yeah, just all of that firepower from the Ushabti and Bone Giant just not worth the cost of just a single breath attack. He really needed to wait as another shot connects. Yeah, he just needed to wait until the rest of his units did get a little bit closer, and especially the Sisters of Avalorn to provide a little bit of suppressing fire to these Ushabti. But an Earthblood will go down, trying to heal him up as best he can. It's only 336 health, though. He really needed like a regrowth or something similar to that to get him up and running once again, because at this point he needs to be exceptionally careful because he can't even get within range of that Bone Giant without taking some very considerable damage. But now the Ushabti have turned their fire towards some of these white lines of trace, but this unit has started targeting this Elven Reaver archers that has now tried to start skirmishing in with the Skeleton Warriors on the flank, and they'll be taking quite a bit of firepower. Ushabti do exceptionally well against like cavalry units or very large targets, but the Sisters of Avalorn now opening up themselves, doing a lot of damage to Arkan as the front line does engage. However, there's a very nice summon here from Arkan as he gets a nice surround off on this middle unit of White Lions, as well as the Livre Mortis going down, providing plus 44 physical resist and plus 8 leadership to all these units for a short period of time, which would be very, very, very helpful. Now the Ushabti continuing to fire in, and that Bone Giant as well, looking to retarget Imrik as he is still flying a little too close to the sun by the looks of things, and another shot connects, and he is so low on health, 523, and he does rout as Imrik just got a little too close, and he does finally rout from all of that firepower. Just so much damage going his way, but the Sisters of Avalorn continuing to do good work themselves, just mowing through these Chosen of the Gods very, very effectively, and Arkan himself has taken about 50% damage from those shots as well, as he was trying to kind of stay engaged with his Skeleton Warriors, but the shots still finding their mark against him is just showing how well those Sisters of Avalorn can perform. Now the shots from the Bone Giant looking to be redirected onto these Ethereal Reaver archers, as the Ushabti themselves are going to be looking to target them. Now the shots from all of those units are quickly breaking down the large targets for the High Elves, and the frontline engagement, that center pocket of White Lions, has been broken by that surround of the Skeleton Warriors and that summon, just as that summon does finally dissipate. So right in the nick of time. However, this engagement right here is going a little bit better for the High Elves, as these White Lions are just mowing through these Tomb Guard, and it looks like we have a Ushabti summon in this backline on top of these Sisters of Avalorn, shutting them down at least for the time being, doing some very good work here as they do try and pull out of that summon, but those Ushabti doing a good number here, and the Spearmen though rotating around, pulling out of this engagement, trying to screen them out. Very good heads up play by the High Elves, and the Livre Mortis once again going down, but that Tomb Prince is taking so much damage from this Lore Master, and that Tomb Prince does not want to be anywhere near that Lore Master, as that Tomb Prince is more of a anti-large character, and that Lore Master just doing so much damage, and now the focus fire from those Sisters of Avalorn doing so much work, but the Sepulchral Stalkers looking to be trying to clear up some of this chaff unit, as this flank of the High Elves did break free and was pressuring these Ushabti, but these Spearmen did able to swing around and support, and man, these Ushabti just taking so much damage, losing a few models themselves, but they have been able to use up all of their ammo against the Sisters of Avalorn, and these Spearmen effectively shutting down this Ushabti unit and keeping them from those Sisters of Avalorn. So that Ushabti unit kind of a waste at this point, not really doing what it wanted to do. However, now these Ushabti, having used up all their ammo, are engaging in melee, trying to break these White Lions, and they finally are able to break them. So that's two of the White Lions off the map, at least for the time being. The other unit has been able to persist with the assistance of that Lore Master. Now, a Spear Leech is going down onto this Lore Master of Hoeth. However, he does have 22% magic resist with his Cloak of the Lore Master, which is very, very helpful. Now, Imrik trying to get back into the fight here. He does rout, just flying overhead of these Skeleton Warriors, just showing how low he is, and a shot from the Bone Giant just narrowly missing Imrik as he does start flying away, and that shot would have finished him as he is on slivers of HP. Now these Sepulchral Stalkers, Eyes of the Desert, finally getting on top of this Sisters of Avalorn, once again shutting them down, but the Sisters of Avalorn have proven throughout this match that they just can't be shut down for long, as they just keep getting out of these predicaments time and time again. as the spearmen are trying once again to screen out the large targets from keeping the Sisters of Avalorn offline. Now, Imrik does come back online, and a nice dodge there as Imrik does avoid one more fire from that Bone Giant, as he does land amongst these Skeleton Warriors, trying to keep them away from the Sisters of Avalorn for as long as possible. And we do have a returning White Lion of Trace as well, trying to keep them away to allow these Sisters to fire back in once again, as these units are finally online, shooting into the Eyes of the Desert at point-blank range, doing a lot of damage themselves. Now, these Ushabti with Great Bow are going to be coming in to try, and I think they're trying to get into range of Imrik right now, who is on very, very low. He is wavering, though he has regained his leadership as he is winning this engagement with these Skeleton Warriors. But the Sisters of Avalorn firing in, I think doing a little bit of friendly damage as he's down to 237 health. He is very, very low indeed. But the Bone Giant is out of ammo right now, but a Spirit Leech does go down on top of Imrik, and that may just be enough. And down he falls. A nice cast by Arkan, finishing him off. Now, these Ushabti committing to melee here to shut down these Sisters of Avalorn one more time, as they've been unable to effectively do so. However, these units are being chased off by these Skeleton Warriors, as these supporting units of Light Lions did break, and another Libra Mortis does go down onto this engagement, keeping that Bone Giant alive and well as these King Nekesha Scorpion Legion and point-blank firepower from these Eyes of the Desert, trying to break as many of these spearmen as possible in as short a period of time. Now, Arkan looking to be assisting his Ushabti here, trying to break these Sisters, but they have been unable to go down, as they do have fairly decent melee stats themselves. They're not as easily broken as some archer units are, and they're just holding off against even the Ushabti very, very effectively. And the Lore Master looking to regain, kind of regroup with the rest of his spearman units, but a nice summon from the Arkan as the Tomb Blade does bring another Skeleton Warrior summon directly on top of the Sisters of Avalorn, and that will be enough to cause them to rout. And that is one unit finally gone. Balance power is slightly in the favor of the Tomb Kings, though at this point the Sisters of Avalorn are going to be coming back right now, and with that firepower that could be just enough to whittle down the forces as much as they can, as this Lore Master just continues to defy the odds, as he is just going strong throughout the course of the match. Haven't taken too much damage, but now the Bone Giant wading its way through into melee to engage that Lore Master, as he does get in range and just laying down the heavy metal on top of him. And the summon now rotating around to surround the Spearman unit, and Earthblood is going to go down, trying to keep them as topped off as they can. However, these Eyes of the Desert are going to be now swinging around to try and peel off these Spearmen before they can regroup with the rest of the forces. But it looks like these Skeleton Warriors are about to lose out on their summons, as that time is just slowly whittling away. Now, Arkan using a Spirit Leech on top of the Sisters of Avalorn, looking to peel off as many models as they can, as he does chase them down, while the Ushabti are chasing off the other unit. So the ranged support will not be coming for the High Elves, but the Spearmen do finally regroup, and that this Skeleton Warrior summon completely dissipating, freeing up that entire flank for the High Elves, allowing the Spearmen to regain a bit of their leadership. We do have some more Spearmen in the far flank. It looks like they are trying to free up these Sisters of Avalorn, though they will not be able to catch, and they would be best used if they were going to regroup with this frontal engagement here. Now, the Spearmen and the Lore Master are still holding fairly strong here. There is a nice charge from the Eyes of the Desert, but all of these Skeleton Spearmen are all crumbling slowly but surely, so it's only a matter of time before they slowly dissipate. And if these Spearmen are able to hold off until then, that will provide this Lore Master with the infantry support to maybe deal with that Bone Giant, as we get some Ushabti fire, though, coming in, as he has been able to shatter those Sisters of Avalorn at long last. And these Spearmen are terrified. The other unit does rout, so away goes the spear support for this Lore Master Hoeth, and that is not good for him. He really does need some of that assistance, as this unit does now finally rout naturally from that fire from the Ushabti. However, Arkan is quickly just pushing off the Sisters of Avalorn, and these unit of Spearmen just trying in vain to catch them, as they will not be able to do so. And the Eyes of the Desert now are going to be swinging out of this engagement here to deal with these Spearmen, make sure that they don't come back to assist their Lore Master, and just leave that Lore Master to the Bone Giant and these Spearmen, as well as the King Nekesha Scorpion Legion, giving a little bit of poison damage on top of that Lore Master. Though this Bone Giant right now is just kind of hanging out off to the side a bit. He would kind of want to get engaged with the Lore Master, as he doesn't want that Lore Master to finish off these Spearmen too quickly, to provide a little bit of kind of distraction for them, as he does have a ton of armor. He has 80 armor, and he still has 6,500 HP, so he should be able to tank that Lore Master damage fairly well. However, the Lore Master, his only hope is to get very lucky with his hits against that Bone Giant, is now that the Ushabti are looking to rotate around and prevent these Spearmen from coming in to assist, as they should be able to catch them fairly soon, and they should just be able to rout them off the charge, as these Eyes of the Desert have been able to shatter one Spearman unit and are now rotating around to deal with that other unit, and they do rout those units off the charge, and it is just down to the Lore Master and the Spearmen, and army losses are getting so close, and it looks like that is going to be army losses, as all the units do finally shatter, and the Tomb Kings will take it. So let's take a look at the after battle report. The Tomb Kings with their Bone Giants and Ushabti doing an insane amount of damage against Imrik, and that was a very expensive loss for the High Elves. Over 3k gold just down the drain, only getting off one breath attack, 19 kills, definitely not paying for himself. However, the Sisters of Avalor, doing some very good work themselves, did a lot of damage to the Tomb Prince and to Arkan, and were able to kind of pretty much clean up these Chosen of the Gods very effectively, though they were able to use up all of their ammo, so they did get a lot of their value back. The Sisters of Avalor just were relentless throughout the match, just not able to go down. White Lions did very good work in that front line, able to break through those Tomb Guard very effectively, but they just didn't have anything to, in the tank after that point, and the rest of the units were just able to collapse upon them and slowly whittle them down and rout them off the map. The Spearmen actually doing fairly good. 147 kills for this unit, 63. These two units are able to last until the late game, and that Lore Master of Hoeth, kind of that one unit that I was a little hesitant about to see at the early stages of the match, but he did do very well. 137 kills, healing, Spirit Leech, able to beat down that Tomb Prince very effectively. So he did very well in this match, and I was kind of impressed to see that. But otherwise, I think they had the High Elves. Their biggest fault was with Imrik. He needed to wait until the rest of his units were engaged, especially the Sisters of Avalorn, providing that ranged kind of suppression for those Ushabti, kind of spread their attention to various targets. But otherwise, yeah, Imrik was just the sole target when he was so far ahead, and that was what really gave the Tomb Kings the edge in this match. But otherwise, it was a very fun match, and I do hope you all enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good one.